Recent statistics reveal that over 40% of homeless people in Australia are under the age of 24, some even younger than 12. This statistic illustrates the alarming number of youth in need, but what hasn't been thoroughly researched in the past is just how many are transgender. Today I spoke with Jack Richardson, a member of the transgender community, about his journey and the struggles along the way, as well as the Salvation Army spokesman, Chris Halliday, about what homeless shelters must now do to accommodate the transgender community.
I started transitioning about 19 months ago, and I spoke to a few people about it and got involved in groups trying to, suss out the situation, how I felt about things. And I started on hormones about 3 months into that. So I've been on hormones for 16 months. Obviously, I spoke to my parents first about it. My mum, she sort of understood where I was coming from, but I think she was a bit of in denial a bit, because I don't know, I'm her child. She can't really grasp what it really means for her child to change sex. So it was kind of a bit hard for her. My friends, however, they were very supportive, and they just want me to be happy, really. So, and it's not up to them to tell me how I feel and where I'm going to go in my own life.
What we find when we talk to transgender young people, and the same goes for those who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, is that there's so much stigma attached. When they start to discover who they are, when they start to come out, they're either shunned by family or the wider community, or they're just unable to access services and certainly accommodation.
For Jack, realising he was transgender was a process that took him some time to accept.
When I first realised that I could possibly be transgender, it was very daunting. I was in denial for a good amount of time. It's not something that you see yourself living with for the rest of your life, and it's really hard to grasp what the changes are actually going to do to you. It took me a long time to sort of get comfortable with the idea before I started hormones. I've spoken to a few people and they've had bad reactions from their parents and extended family. Some people just totally disown their children, which is really sad, and I'm very lucky that my parents are sort of supportive, but they still love me. But yeah, some people have been kicked out of home. Their parents don't talk to them anymore, their brothers and sisters, and yeah, it's sad.
Chris Halliday urges that the Salvation Army is open to help all identities in any way they can, and that there is no discrimination.
I have no doubt that transgender people and absolutely gay and lesbian people are hesitant to seek services at places like the Salvation Army for two reasons. First of all, we're a Christian organisation, and there's a perception in some elements of the community that automatically means that our services would discriminate. Of course, nothing could be further from the truth. And the Salvation Army, unfortunately, doesn't have an awesome track record when it comes to the gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans community. We just haven't been great on it in the past. Some people in our movement have let us down historically and have said some things they shouldn't have said, and that has added to that perception. The simple fact is, though, we are a safe and inclusive and welcoming movement. We absolutely do not discriminate in terms of the services we provide. We absolutely do not discriminate in terms of our employment practices. I myself am a gay man and a fully ordained minister in the Salvation Army and a leader of services here in the city. There is no barrier to service and no barrier to employment in the Salvation Army. We still have some work to do on perceptions, there's no doubt about it. And I understand why people would be fearful or hesitant to approach the Salvation Army for assistance. I completely get it. But the truth is we are a different organisation than perhaps we have been, and we are a different organisation than perceptions would tell you that we are. And there is no reason to hesitate coming to us for assistance, because we absolutely will help anybody who comes to us.
Not a lot of people know what transgender is, and I think, we're getting there. We're trying to raise awareness. That's why we do interviews, and I've done online interviews, and we're just trying to get out there that we're not, we're not strange. We're not like weird. I don't know. I think people have the wrong idea of what it means to be transgender, and the more awareness that we put out there, it's going to definitely benefit the homeless, because there'll be more support. And definitely, I think, obviously, if transgender issues are more accepted in society, obviously the numbers are going to diminish in homelessness.
There needs to be more research done into why we have so many people who are transgender who are homeless. Of course, there's some really practical and simple answers to that. There is no crisis accommodation for someone who is transgender, or very little, should I say, accommodation for someone who is transgender. There are, of course, deeper reasons that come around bullying and exclusion and abuse, and those need to be better researched, and we need to have better figures on that. But certainly we need to see better and more diverse accommodation options and better and more diverse support options for people who are transgendered, aware that they are far more likely to become homeless than their heterosexual peers. Our society is changing, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Only recently on national television we had the world's highest ranking military officer who's transgender. We're living in a new space now, and progress isn't as fast as we would like it, of course. I can't help but think we're so close to being a society that is more inclusive and more equal and more accessible for everybody. And I would like to think that very soon transgender people will be free to discover and free to explore and free to come out and work through who they are in a safe environment within their families and within the communities. It's probably a little while off, unfortunately, but we're certainly passionate to do everything we can to contribute as society goes on this journey.
Well, before transitioning, I was quite introverted. I wasn't really interested in having much of a social life. I didn't really go out a lot because I wasn't comfortable in my body, and now I'm just a lot happier and a lot more confident. I've got a great group of friends, and just every day keeps getting better. It's good.
Although Perth does have a long way to go to accommodate the homeless transgender community, both Jack and Chris know that times are changing. I'm Chelsea Fruworth reporting for Undercurrent.